Hello everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining Motorola Solutions today for our APAC channel Community Learning Hour. Before we begin the presentation, let's do a little housekeeping. So live audio translations is available in Bahasa Indonesia, Chinese, Japanese, and Vietnamese languages. For our regulars, you should be pretty familiar with how to turn on the live audio translations. So for the benefit of our partners who are new to this webinar, let's do a quick walkthrough on how to turn it on. So just locate and click on the interpretation button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Then select your preferred language in the pop-up box. And in that same box, to mute the original audio, so you will only be hearing the translations. Note that all attendees are on listen-only mode. So if you have any questions, please enter them in the Q&A box found on the bottom of your Zoom window. We will take the questions at the end of the presentation. And this session is recorded and will be made available to you via email and on Partner Central. So we've come to the last episode of our APAC channel Community Learning Hour for this year. Time flies, yeah? So we will all take a break in December and we will resume our learning hour in 2025. So for today's final episode, we are delighted to have Kit Sun Chung, our APAC pre-sales lead, who will talk about Moto Turbo R7 and R2. So without further ado, I'll hand over the floor to Kit Sun. Kit Sun, please.
Thank you, Rachel. Like you mentioned, yeah, time flies. I think we have just reached almost to the end of November and hitting December. I think everybody's gonna be out around, yeah, with all your year-end holidays plans and all that. Just before we hit those things, I think it is always good for us to kind of come back and kind of reflect on what we have done so far. And I think today's discussion is really to reflect a little bit. And perhaps for some of us who are very familiar, this could be a refresher. I was looking at the attendance list. We have a lot of people today, yeah, 90 over people. Very nice to have all the partners, communities coming in and to be able to kind of spend this time, this 1 hour together. Now, for some of us who are new to this session, I encourage you guys to kind of pick up certain things. If you have questions, we can throw them in, yeah, at the end of a session, and we can go through them. Yeah. So again, I would kind of present the R7 and the R2, picking up some of the key points, some of the practical things, and perhaps some of the FAQ things that we always kind of ask and things that we always unsure of. So I'll try to address some of those as we go along. Yeah. So again, a big thank you for all of you guys to set aside time and kind of join us. Now, over the years, I think if some of partners on this call has been with Motorola on this journey for many, many years, since the day we introduced DMR radios, right? And if you are one of them, you would recall that this R7 is really the fourth generation of motor turbo radios that we introduced. The first one being the 82 series, or in the Asia region at least, yeah. And then we have the XIR P86 series, the DP 4000 series, and then we have the second version, the refresh with the I and the E at the back. That was the third generation. And then here comes the R7 in the fourth generation. Now, gone are the days that we kind of have different model names for the different region. Just now I mentioned DP series and the XIR series. Those are for the different regions. Yeah, we know that Australia, we sells the DP series, which is kind of like the Europe model. XIR is for the Asia Pac per se, and we are now simplifying things. Just R7. So anywhere you go in the world, it's R7. Now, if you look at this thing, apart from the naming, we have kind of redesigned the whole radio, and this was introduced 2 years ago. So if this is the first time you're hearing this R7, this is actually 2 years. To be frank, 2 years is still relatively okay. Yeah, it's not too old because typically our product stays in the market for 5-7 years. Yeah, before the next iteration. Or in fact, if you look at the P86 series, it was there for 10 over years. Yeah. What are some of the key things that we want to highlight in terms of the new design? If you look at the whole ID, it's a very new design. Yeah, so I have the radios with me in front of me as well. I'm holding it. If you look at it, it has a very slick design, easier to hold. Yeah, and then in terms of the screen, we make it double the size of the previous ones. The keypad, it has a full keypad with speakers at the back of it. Now, one of the cool thing or one of the key important thing is when it comes to the audio. I'll talk about that more, but if you can look at the slides at the back of the design at the back of the radio, there's actually a hole at the top, just beside the R7 nameplate. And that is actually the second microphone. Yeah, it's used for noise cancellation. We will talk a little bit about the feature sets in the wall. Now, in this section, right, similar for R7 and R2, we're gonna break it down to three parts, three key features. A lot of times we are bombarded by a lot of specs and and facts, yeah. But to help us to remember, just three aspects of things. Yeah. Number one, we focus on the audio, right? Second thing, we focus on the performance on our day-to-day usage for our businesses, yeah, for our day-to-day use. And the third, of course, how is this being catered for the upcoming and future integrations and feature sets? With that, let's start off with the first one, which is the audio. Now, in the world of two-way radios, the audio performance is always one of the key things. Every time we have a new hardware iteration, we take the opportunity to improve this, to make it better than previous. So in this case, if you look at some of the bullets here, the key difference from this R7 from previous one is really on the noise cancellation. Previously, we only have one mic. We use software to kind of suppress the noise, the background noise. But we know that software has a limitation. There's only so much we can do, yeah, based on software. So to break through to the next level, that is where we will require dual microphone, the hardware improvement as well. So having two microphone is as good as having two sets of ear, yeah, in the sense that you're hearing what the person is talking, yeah, is saying on the user side. And the other microphone is to really detect the surrounding, the noise level, how noisy, and using that kind of reference, we will then be able to compress or what it calls as a suppress, yeah, suppress the noise that is considered at the background, yeah. Then, of course, we have the acoustic feedbacks, the intelligent audio. Now, these are nothing new per se because we had this for a long time since the first generation of Motor Turbo. Moving on, I think if you look at the audio output, that's another key feedback we always have across the many years. Yeah, users, they prefer louder voice, even though we have a good speaker, but that is always not enough. We want it to be louder. So in this case, the amplifier design, the speaker design, everything has been redone, yeah, to upgrade it to a better level. So in this case, we are looking at the loudness. This is way louder than the previous version. We measure in terms of phone, that's the measurement unit, phone 102. So to give you a reference, what is 102 phone? It is like someone shouting, but let's say you're in a concert, right? And you're trying to talk to the person next to you, and you'll be raising your voice to try to get your voice over. So it's 4 times that loudness. So that's 102. So again, if you look at our R7, we can crank it up all the way to 107 if need to. Yeah. Of course, we wouldn't advise to use that all the time because it will impact your hearing. Yeah. So use it sparingly when needed. Apart from that, if you look at the accessories, we do have RSMs, the charger, the carry case, antenna. Some of these things are reused from the previous, so you can actually reuse some of these things. You don't have to purchase new if you already have them. Yeah. Next one, very quickly, if you look at how the day-to-day operations now, in order to survive in the actual operating field, device needs to be ruggedized. We know that mobile phones, yes, it can use to be as a communication device, but it is not ruggedized and it is not industrial. So first of all, a lot of our users are in the oil and gas environment. That again requires a special approval, the HAZLOG approval. So we do have the intrinsically safe option. So you can purchase the TIA option and it will come with the TIA battery. And then you are good to go in terms of the usage. Now, again, when it comes to TIA, the IS HAZLOG approval, always check the rating, make sure that the end users has the approval to use it on the right place, right location, with the right certification and ratings. Apart from there, I think we look at the physical or the environmental protection. This is where we kind of shout out something again. Yeah, IP68. IP68 is nothing new. We had that in the previous version as well. The part that we want to highlight is IP66. So a lot of misconception in the market that if we have IP67 or IP68, we would pass IP66 or we will pass IP66, right? Or it may be IP65 in that case as well. No, that is not true. Yeah, that is not the correct understanding, because based on our lab performance, our lab testing and all that, we know that IP66 is harder to be achieved compared to IP68. Okay, even though the number seems to be lower, but it is true. Yeah, IP66 is harder to be achieved, because if you look at IP66, we are looking at high pressure water coming at all directions. So we are talking about stream of water shooting at the radio, and this may cause the water to seep in. Yeah, the moment the water seep in, you fail the test. Yeah, it's a no-go. So yeah, for us, we have both IP66 tested, IP68 tested. So in that sense, we can be very well assured the ceiling is good. Yeah. Well, what does ceiling then represents? What does it translate to? It would then translate to better protection of all the circuitry in the housing, which also means that on the long run, you can be sure that the radio performs for a long time. Yeah, in terms of the durability, it's all well taken care of. So it's not only just for water protection, but it's also significant in terms of how long the product can run. Yeah. Of course, we know that all our radios are mil standards approved. Yeah, it has all the drop tests and all that. Now, something new again, the last bullet here, if you look at the screen, this is where living through the times of COVID, it has taught us something. It has taught us to be more patient. It has taught us to be more self-disciplined. And at the same time, it teaches us to be more hygiene, to be more caution or aware of hygiene. Now, having a radio, we know that our users sometimes, or I say a lot of them, share their devices. All right, one shift to the another shift, they pass on the radios. So what does it mean? It means that the radios needs to be sanitized every on and off, yeah, because we are sharing this with a lot of people. And the good thing is the R7 is approved to be kind of to the military standard, so that we can use the disinfectant or the alcohol level, yeah, to kind of clean the radio, and it's safe to the plastic. It won't destroy the plastic. It will be okay, yeah, for a long run. So that's that's something that we added to our radio as well. Next thing, if you look at the overall design, it has connectivity and the different types of capability as well. One of the key things we look at is the ability to connect through Wi-Fi. Yeah, the ability to manage the device remotely. That's from programming standpoint, from the software updating, it can all done through Wi-Fi. So gone are the days that you have to collect back the radios and send it back to the service center and all those things. It's all taking place right where you are. In terms of the battery, this is again, we have the Impress battery. It runs off the air as well. You can do it over the air. You can capture the status of this battery, the impress over the air management. Now, for some of us here, yeah, we may be new to this, but we do have all this available. So if you have not tried it, I encourage you to reach out to our team. We can always give you the license and you can try it. Yeah. Um, Moving on to the next portion. Yeah. So this is where we talk about some of the new or some of the directions that we're going. So if you guys are familiar with Motorola, we are on this journey of solving for safer. As what our CEO, Greg Brown, mentions, this is a journey. It's not an end state per se. We haven't reached there, or we are on this journey together to be at a better position when it comes to safety. It's never enough, yeah, in a sense. So if you look at Motorola, we are having different portfolios. The body worn, we have the Avigilon cameras and all that. And this is where we are working towards the integration of all this portfolio. Now, before we can do that, of course, the radio needs to have some of these capabilities, or I would say enablers, such as Wi-Fi, right? Such as Bluetooth, the good audio, good display, and all that, in order to do this kind of meaningful integration. So first of all, we start with the display. It has a large display. Gone were the days that you can only see your text message, but not the rest of the info. So we can see more things. We can see the text message. We can see the sender, the time stamp and everything. And all these things are part of the advantage of having a larger display. The other part is, of course, as I mentioned, the collaboration of the integration. So with Avigilon, today we know that we can do the radio alert. So either from a donor radio or from the orchestrate, that means from a CCTV when they receive an alert, let's say certain things are being triggered in the camera systems, you will send the text message directly, or I would say quickly, yeah, within 1 or 2 seconds kind of thing, and you will get the real-time message on the radio. It can be a certain radio per se, or it can be a certain talk group. So all these are configurable based on the requirements. And coming back to the core radio network, of course, we have launched different kind of configuration from the day one. We had IPsec Connect and Cat Plus for the longest time. Cat Max was introduced back in the I'm trying to recall, yeah, 2014, 2015. Yeah, you can check. Yeah, let me know if I got it right or wrong. So those were the days that we kind of went into tier 3, and having an R7, you have the flexibility, the options to run on any of this system. Because R7, if you look at it, is a pro tier, yeah, meaning that it's able to run in any kind of configuration. So the good thing is, if you have a customer that is using this in a very simple conventional system today, not to worry, because this is future-proof. You can upgrade it using license key, and eventually you can go all the way to the full trunking Cat Max system if required, right? So that's a good thing. Yeah, you are protecting the investment. Very quickly, if you look at this slide, this is just to give you a quick summary of a comparison. When we look at the R7 series, there are actually kind of like two models. The R7 with the full display and the non-keypad. And then there is an R7A, which is for certain countries, which is at a lower price. Yeah. Now R7A would reduce some of the capabilities. Things like the dual mic. Yeah, you don't have the dual mic. You don't have some of the key, the advanced feature. So just to keep the cost down. Yeah. However, if we look at the comparison with R7 with the previous version, the 86 series or the DP4000 series, we can see that there's a lot of improvement, a lot more hardware improvement. I think one of the key things people will straight away realize is the loudness of the audio. Yeah. Now, coming to some of the key, I would say, practical tips, yeah, or practical things that people like to ask. I get this question a lot, especially when we first launched this. Now, this is the one-time activation process. What is this? Because in the past, we don't have this process. This is only introduced on R7. The first thing first, when you receive the radio from Motorola, right from our factory, our distribution center, we will need to connect the radio to an internet access, to the internet access. Once we are connected to the internet access, it will then connect to our server, right? The server within our Motorola facility, and it will then download the, I would say, code plug or the image, I would say the code plug, of the radio into the device. Now that configuration will depend on what type of radio we buy from or which region we buy from. So in other words, instead of having different model names for the different region, we are using software to make the difference. So we still can settle for R7, the same model name, but in terms of the configuration, it will then depend on which model you purchase and which region it was purchased from. So now, how do we do this activation process? Very simple. All you have to do is set up a wireless hotspot environment within your office or your workshop. Put up a router, just set the SSID of that access point to Motor Turbo, all capital. So if you can look at the slides here, Motor Turbo, full capital, and the password, radio management. Things that we are very familiar with, CPS, radio management, right? So put in these two things. The security type, just WPA. It runs on 2.4 gig or 5 gig, that's fine. Now, once you have set that, power on your device. Just power on. Once you power on, it will then automatically connects to this SSID with this password, and then tries to access to our Motorola network or our Motorola server. And then it will download the code plug. And then once you see the screen, it will say that it's completed, provisioned, and configured. You can then use it as a normal radio, just like how in the past, when you purchase the radio, it will come with those standard configuration. So that is the one time. Now, this process, you just have to do it one time. One time, that's it. One time. Once you do it, this radio is good to go. Okay. With that, let's move on. Use cases, I think some of the key areas that we want to highlight is somewhere that requires loud audio, right? Especially, let's say, in a stadium, in a game, while everybody's cheering, everybody's shouting, everybody's screaming for their team, and there's a request for medical assistance. Someone kind of sprained the leg, and then the staff will need to coordinate between the medical staff and the security guys. And that's where I think the R7 will come in very handy. With a given specification, with a given specs on the audio, we can be sure that they can be heard. Second one, I think we look at the building or shopping mall surveillance. It can be access control. It can be a camera's setting, where if someone is being breaking into an area, cameras picks it up, the access control picks it up. Immediately, you'll send the message to all the security guys who's holding the R7 radio. Now, it comes in the form of a text message. Of course, R7, then we can add in the text-to-speech, and then the radio will then read out those texts, and you can be heard for the security guys. And then they can take actions based on their procedure. With that, I've kind of finished on the R7. That's where I will go to the R2. Now, if you realize by now, Motorola, we are kind of refreshing most of our portfolio, and the new naming convention is all R. So it's R, and just 2 letters, R7, R2. And by having the higher number, it means the higher tier. So R7 is kind of like the high tier, and R2 is kind of like the commercial tier. So a more budget friendly, a more simple device. So this R2 is meant to replace the 36 series. Yeah, 36. Some of you may know the internal name of Timo. Yeah, so that's the model that we are replacing with the R2. So very similar. Again, one of the key aspect we look at it is we want to make it slimmer, make the form factor easier to be handled, easier to be hold. Yeah, so that's where some of the, if you look at the bottom part of a radio, a lot of the, I would say the waistline has been trimmed down, so that's easier to hold. If you look at the audio, we have kind of bumped up a bit also as well. Moving on to the next slide. So again, three things we want to take away for this model. First of all, the physical design. Yeah, the lightweightness. Yeah, is made to be lighter, easier to hold. The environmental protection. Second is the audio. Again, we want to make sure that the audio is always improved from one generation to another. And the last one is, of course, how easy for it to be used. So first one first, male standard. I think we are all very familiar. Motorola radios meant are all to last for years. It's an investment that we put in that will carry on working for years. That is again due to the design. ALT is where we always continue to test our products with. Yeah, it's a accelerated life test. Simulates 5 years in the field use. Yeah, day-to-day use. Yeah, for 5 years, it's all compressed into, I don't know, a week of testing. And once it passes, it's good, almost as good as to 5 years in the field use. IP55, this is where we improve on the water protection. Yeah, it used to be IP54, now it's IP55. And then of course, we look at some of the users, because for this kind of non-display models, usually is used in construction, outdoors and all that. So it has to be easy to use, glove friendly. Now, moving on, of course, the physical standpoint, the physical aspect of it is lightweight, easy to hold, and the battery, we kind of make sure that it can be used for full shift, even to a low temperature. I guess for most part of Asia, in the equator, we don't have this issue, but I think those in the south or high up north, maybe winter season, yeah, as we approach December, I think it's getting cooler in the northern region, yeah, and this device is designed all the way to -20. So, of course, audio. That is where, again, we want to improve on this. Sync Plus, if you know this terminology, is a single mic, yeah, single input, yeah, noise cancellation, single mic, where we used to have this on the Pro tier. The P86 series or the DP4000 has this feature, and it has always been an exclusive feature for the high tier. Right now, we are bringing this feature to the commercial tier. So R2 has the benefit of having this noise cancellation feature. The other part is we talk about the RF. We have also improved on the RF. So in terms of the sensitivity, now how does sensitivity help in this area? We know that we are all kind of bounded by the amount of power we can transmit because of in-country regulations. VHF, you're only up to 5 watts, right? UHF 4 watts. These are all regulated. Although the radio can be cranked up, but you'll be going against the law, yeah, against the regulation. So in that case, how do we then extend the range if we need to? So the other way to work on this is to improve on the sensitivity. Now, how I like to describe this is what does it mean to have high sensitivity or good sensitivity is very similar to our ears, our hearing. How well we can hear a certain person talking to us in a distance. Yeah. So if our hearing is good, we can still hear the person. But if our hearing is bad, we can't hear it. Yeah. So as simple as that. So given a fixed level of transmit power, how well does the radio is able to receive this signal and interpret this signal. So that's the advantage of having a good receiver sensitivity. So a lot of times you see in the brochure, 0.41, 0.14 microvolt. The lower the number, the better it is. Yeah, it's not the other way around. So the lower the number, the more sensitive is the radio. So of course, that comes in on the R2. We have improved those things. And of course, we also added the audio preference. This used to be on the mid-tier and high-tier radio. So we have added this as well so that you can fine-tune some of the audio to make it either treble boost or bass boost, yeah, to make it sound nicer. Now, of course, if you look at the design of the radio, it's very straightforward because there's no display, all right? It's just a simple plain radio. Very good PTT design. Two programmable buttons and the knobs on the top. So again, if you look at the overall usage, it's straightforward. And we added some of the QR codes so that you can scan and get some support materials like documentations and all that. Again, if you look at the accessories, we do have some of the new ones as well because simply we have bumped up some of the audio. So in terms of RSM, we have kind of increased the audio as well. Now, if you look at the R2, the accessory connector is still the 2-pin connector. So it is still preserving the previous type of connector. So some of these things can be reused. Yeah. And of course, as I mentioned, yeah, the charger is backward compatible with the 36 series, yeah, P36 or the Timo platform, yeah. So we purposely maintain the footprint so that the new batteries can still be inserted into the existing charger. So if you have those things, don't throw them away, yeah. So it helps in terms of your migration. Now here comes one of the FAQ, yeah, usual questions that people will ask because sometimes it can be quite confusing. So I would like to just spend a bit of time to explain this part as well. So traditionally, if we look at the motor turbo systems, just now we mentioned we have Cat Plus, and then we have the multi-site Cat Plus, yeah, LCP or Link Capacity Plus, the old name, and then we have Cat Max. Now, traditionally, if we look at the commercial series, we can only do IP site connect, which is a conventional wide area network. There's no capability to do trunking at all, right? In the B36 series, in the old commercial model range. However, when it comes to the R2, we have deliberately, right? We have intentionally opened up the trunking capability to this level of users. Now, the whole idea is we want to let even a budget user, somebody who's restrained, yeah, with budget, to be able to enjoy some of these trunking benefits. Yeah, trunking has its benefit because it is a more efficient way of using the repeater. It has the capability to allocate any repeater channel that is free to be used, right? So in this case, however, we are limiting it to just 4 channels. 2 repeaters means 4 channels, and this is a single site, right? We can't do a multi-site because multi-site would be more complex and it requires a lot more things to handle that kind of calls, yeah? So for this tier, R2, we are allowing the subscriber to perform single site, 2 repeater Cat Plus trunking network. Now, there is a license key required for this, and the license key, the part number, is actually different, yeah, different from the standard LCP or the Cat Plus license that we know of. So just be aware, yeah, it's a different license. Reach out to us if you need that license because I think the pricing is also different, yeah, it is cheaper in a way, yeah. So yeah, reach out to us if you need those part numbers. And if we look at the okay, so some of the key verticals, some of the targeted markets, again, we are looking at people who needs reliable communications. It could be a loud environment. It could be a very industrial, very ruggedized kind of environment. Not to worry. R2 is built for that kind of usage, that kind of environment. And vertical wise, I think we look at manufacturing, construction, security guys is meant for the day-to-day operations. Yeah. And use cases, yeah, number one, very appropriately. If you look at construction, that is where one of the key market, we have the R2 kind of designed for that kind of usage. No nonsense, easy to use, reliable communications, works in all kinds of environment. Yeah. Next one would be manufacturing. So manufacturing, again, sometimes there's a lot of machinery, there may be noises, there may be all kinds of equipment. Yeah. So users, they typically require something that is easy to use because they may be operating a machine halfway. They may be observing certain things, going through certain processes, and they just need to update and talk to their colleagues, yeah, their fellow workers, and just having a simple device, push and talk. That's it. Yeah. And of course, looking at wide area, this is maybe a plantation, yeah, area that you have workers farming and doing agriculture. Again, the R2, as we mentioned, we have improved on the sensitivity. It gives us better range. So that is something that we can always look at. Yeah, the range is, in terms of the RF performance, is quite good for this radio. With that, I have come to the end of the presentation, very quickly covering R7, R2. Yeah, with that, I will open up for Q&A.
Okay, so now's the perfect chance to ask Kitsun any questions that you may have regarding Moto Turbo R7 or R2. So yeah, Kitsun, I believe we have one question.
Okay. Okay, the IPsec Connect options available on R2. Yes, the answer is yes. And does it require IPsec Connect license? I believe it is. Yeah, I can't remember off my head, but I think it is. Yeah, my gut feel tells me, yeah, it needs a license key. Now, a lot of us, we ask this question a lot. How do we check whether it needs license or what features is available? Now, the way to check this, the best way to check this is connect your radio to the CPS, read the radio, and on the first page, you have all the generic general information. You'll be able to see what are the features that are supported, and if the device has the feature, it would be updated as free, yeah, or I would say purchase or something like that. But if it's written as not purchase, then you know that you require a license to kind of activate it. Yeah. Okay, the next question from somebody who's anonymous. In the near future, does R7 supports PTX with PTX? Okay, so I suppose this question is based on the previous DP series or the P86 series where we are able to connect to Wi-Fi and then runs the Wave PTX client. There is plans, of course. Yeah, we're looking into this. However, I don't have the committed date yet. So hold your horses on that. It should be coming, but we don't have a date yet at this point. All right, good question. Is there decode and code text for R2? So if I remember correctly again, yeah, you can do canned messages. That means you kind of program the button and press it and it will send you a fixed message. Yeah. Okay, any more questions? AES available in, okay, oh, all right, okay, lots of questions, very good. One in Japanese, I would need help to translate.
Okay, let me just try.
Okay. While that, I'll do the other questions first. AES available on R7, R2. Okay, so the answer is on R7, yes, not on R2. So AES encryption, we know, is a kind of like a high tier encryption, 256-bit. Typically, this is only on the Pro tier. Yeah, even the 66 series do not support AES, right? So you will need to go to R7. Next one, does R7 has a built-in GPS? Yes, the answer is yes, right? So Depending on the model you get, if you get the enabled model, then it will come all with it. If you get the capable model, you may need a license key to kind of activate it. Yeah, so just check. But in terms of the hardware, yes, GPS is supported on the R7. Okay, the next one is anonymous, right? Can you expand on how the Avigilon camera integrates to the R7? Very good. So this is where we talk about the safety and security ecosystem. There are two ways to integrate the R7 with Avigilon system. The simple way is by using a donor radio, meaning that the Avigilon Unity, the ACC as we call it, yeah, the VMS, we will connect a USB cable, is a special Y cable we call it, to a mobile radio. So the mobile radio in this case would be the M86 series, and that acts as a gateway to send the messages to the R7. So if we program certain messages on the Avigilon side, let's say detection of somebody in this area, right? Somebody detected in main hall. That message will be sent to the mobile, and the mobile will send this text message to all the radios. Yeah, so that is the easier way, or I would say the simple way of doing it, donor radio. But the limitation is this is only usable or doable if you have small number of users in terms of the talk group, because you can only send one talk group at one time. Yeah. Now, in the event you have a large system, yeah, let's say you have lots of users, trunking systems and all that, that is where we will use orchestrate, meaning from a Avigilon side, we'll connect it to a cloud service, what we call as the orchestrate platform. The Moral Turbo repeater systems will connect to this orchestrate cloud as well using an edge node. So edge node is just like a server gateway. We install it the hardware, and then it will connect us to the cloud. And then from there, we can configure what are the trigger points, what are the actions, and then the text message will flow through from Avigilon to the cloud and then back to the radio. You can reach out to me if you want to know more. Yeah, this is another an hour plus of discussion.
Another webinar topic.
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, next one.
Okay, so the Japanese one, right?
Yep.
So I think what the partner is trying to ask is I believe there is the date and time that's displayed on the LCD screen of the R7.
Yes.
Yeah, is it possible to actually turn it off?
Okay. Okay, to be honest, I've seen this request coming from Japan prior to this. The reason why I kind of tell, okay, the reason is because I think the accuracy is not too good, yeah, because it has to be connected to Wi-Fi or GPS to get the synchronization. But if we don't connect it, yeah, it kind of gets lost. So it becomes a bit not as useful sometimes. So at the moment, we can't turn it off, but there is a discussion right now to how to make it turn off. So in the coming firmware upgrades, watch out for this. Yeah, we may put it in. So we don't have a date for now, but it's definitely in the discussion right now. Okay, next one. Over the air programming through VHF or only through Wi-Fi. So over the air, we can work through RF and Wi-Fi. So RF works as well. Yeah. Next one. Hello, we are from Maldives. Very nice country. Yeah, lots of nice scenery. I haven't been there, but hope to be there one day.
Me too.
Okay, how can we contact sales? We have inquiry. Okay. So the way you want to reach out to our sales team is actually Phyllis. Phyllis, yeah, Phyllis runs the region for all the EC countries and more of the Southeast Asia countries. Yeah. So I guess we will reach out to you if you can drop
Yeah.
us your email or something. Yeah,
Yes.
we will come back to you with our what they call it contacts with our support. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Next one from Kadil. Yeah. R2 in trunking mode without display. Can we use the all call all call mode only? At this time, only one group possible. this will occupy one slot and how to make other. Okay, so in a very simple way, yeah, I won't go into very detail of, I know you're trying to troubleshoot something, but I won't kind of spend a lot of time doing this because we can take it offline. In a nutshell, yes, all call works because Cat Plus works for all call as well. Yeah. So when you do an all call, it means that you pull everybody. It's a one-way broadcast to all top groups that they'll be able to hear your message. So that can be done. Yeah. Next one. When will Motorola integrated AI trained noise suppressor? Wow, this guy has a sneak peek into what's coming. Yeah, not many people know, but I think yeah, Sentry. Yeah, you guys heard of something? It is coming. If I get it correctly, it's the next firmware release. Yeah, so stay tuned. These are some of the new things that are coming on the R7. I won't spoil the spoiler yet. Stay tuned. Okay, next one. Della, yeah, is there any model to meet the Cap Max system except R7? As R7 price is high, well, price is relative. I mean, for the current, only the R7 series kind of supports the Cap Max, because if you look at Cap Max, it's a high tier feature. Yeah, it's a high tier kind of trunking system, and we will require the R7 to run that kind of system. Yeah, so the P66 series is a mid tier; it doesn't support Cap Max. So your answer is only the R7 at this point of time. Yeah. So price, we can talk. Yeah. Next one, can we use advanced Motorola encryption on R2? Okay, so here we see the 40-bit. This is what we call as the enhanced privacy. Yeah, if you look at the Moro Turbo, we have two types of encryption. We have the enhanced privacy and the AES 256. Enhanced privacy is 40 bits. Now I know for sure the 66 series supports enhanced privacy. If I'm not wrong, R2 can be supported as well. So again, like I mentioned, always check your code plug. Go to the code plug, the first page. Yeah, you have all your features that you can activate through license key. Look out for there. Is there enhanced privacy? If enhanced privacy is there, means it's supported. Yeah, so check it out. Next one, Emosi. Yeah, sorry, the question is a bit off from the two products. Can we connect Wave PTX to R7 using connected to traditional repeater? Okay. Okay, very good. Yeah. Not really off the questions per se, it's still within the R7 topic, but sidetrack to Wave a little bit. So the answer is yes, because we can connect a gateway. You have a single tenant, you have multi-tenant gateway that connects to our repeater. Now, I want to be a bit caution about the word traditional, yeah? So when I say repeater here, it has to be digital repeater. So the SLR series of repeater, right? So it will not work if it's running on analog. So analog will not work. So I don't know whether you mean traditional means analog or not, but I just kind of, yeah, upfront, yeah? So traditional, yes. I mean, SLR, you can consider it as traditional, but as long as it's running on digital, add in the gateway, and then we can patch in the Wave and the Moro Turbo system. Yeah. Okay, next one. It's R5. R5. Wow. Okay. I guess it's a typo, is it? Supposed to be R7? um, Okay, okay, I suppose it's R7, yeah, reading from here. The Wi-Fi for programming purpose like P86, the answer is yes, yeah. So it can be used to program just like the P86, that's the purpose, yeah. Of course, having the Wi-Fi will allow us to do more things in the future. So for now, it is to program and upgrade the firmware as well. Back to Kadil, yeah. Explain the recording features on R7, how much can store. Okay, now, as some of you may try and play with it, the R7 has a feature where you can record the last 5 incoming conversation. Yeah. So how many can it record? 5. Yeah. And this is only the incoming. So your transmitted one will not be recorded. It's only the incoming. So as you get new calls coming in, it will then overwrite the calls. So it's the last 5, the latest 5. Now, what is the purpose of this, we may ask? This is used more for reference, I would say. In case we miss something, we want to have a quick playback, that's where we do it. It is not meant for call logging. It is not meant for that, right? It's not meant for us to store the call for the last 30 days, that kind of thing. If you need those voice recording, go for the TurboNet or Smart PTT console, right? That it will be a real voice logger that you can keep track of the whole system, what has been said and recorded. Yeah, all calls recorded. So this is just a reference for that particular user in the sense R7. Okay, thanks for the question. Next one from Ken. Are accessories for P3688 compatible with R2? The answer is yes. Yeah. So as we mentioned, the connector, the 2-pin, yes, is the same. Now, of course, I would say perhaps not 100% of it are being brought over because it requires testing and all that, but I would say a big portion of it is compatible. The best way to make sure is if you can refer to the accessory brochure for the R2. So we do publish accessory brochure for the different radio platform. And if it is mentioned in there, then for sure it is supported. Yeah, that's how we verify and double check that it is supported. Okay, thanks, Ken. Next one, anonymous, another one. If a customer has a Cap Plus system has 3 repeater, can the R2 configure that it has 2 repeater only? The answer is no. 2 repeater means 2 repeater. So if you're gonna run on 3 repeater, I don't know how it'll work. Yeah, you can test it out and let me know. Perhaps when you move to the next channel, you'll be lost. Yeah. So the answer is only 2. Yeah, keep it to 2. If you need to have more than 2 repeaters, then go for the 66 series at least. Next one, is it possible for R2 to use LCP license? The answer is no. Yeah. So as I mentioned very clearly just now, if you want to use the trunking feature for 2 repeaters single site, it's a different license key. Yeah, different. Don't use the normal LCP. It will not work. Yeah. Okay, next one. Anita, yeah. Okay, from Ibis, I guess, yeah. All these webinars available. Okay, this is just asking, yeah. Yes, I think Rachel.
Yes, definitely. Yep. They are all available on Partner Central, so please do log in and review the past episodes. There are also presentation decks there.
Very nice, very nice. Okay.
Okay,
Next
the
one.
next one. Okay, the next one, I think it's something about the P8668. There was this
Profile,
environment
yeah.
item in the audio profile.
That's right.
Where you could select
Correct.
loud or work group.
That's
but
right.
Is there no such function on
Oh,
R7?
okay. The answer is yes, we do have. Yeah. So if we go to the audio settings, we should be able to see those kind of setting as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next one. R7, will it work in analog mode? The answer is yes. You can run on analog as well. Okay. Isn't R2 display model? Dewa, right? You gotta pay attention. R2 is the non-display model. Yeah, no display. Right? It's a plain radio. It's supposed to replace the P3688 non-display. Okay.
Okay, the next one.
Okay, I need help. I can't read Chinese.
Okay, sure. So I believe this partner is asking about the R7 startup welcome screen. So once it starts up, there is this Motorola logo that's been shown, right? Can that be changed to the client's corporate logo?
Okay, good question. I know we used to be able to do that on the P686 series. Yeah, we can always change the logo. My gut feel tells me yes, because I didn't go and pay attention to that, to be honest. Yeah. Very easy. You can always go to your code plug or open up the code plug, check the first few menu under the general setting. You should be able to see on the display that you can change that thing. Yeah. So if you can see those logo and all that, then the answer is yes. But if you can't find that, let me know. Yeah, I'll double check on that. Yeah, then to make sure that whether it's supported or not. But the A6 can do it. We kind of it should be able to do it. Yeah. Okay, next one. From Pablo. Yeah, the other brands of Hikvision, can it be integrated to R7? This is an interesting question. Yeah, I know where this is coming from, because sometimes customer, they may already install their current camera system, right? And it's quite expensive to pull out everything and put in a new system. I understand. So the answer is yes and no. Yes and no. Yes is in a sense that those camera can be reused as long as it is ONVIF certified. So in the camera world, there is this ONVIF standard that governs the different manufacturer between the camera and the VMS, the software. So number one, it has to be ONVIF certified. So those camera can be reused. Now, the other requirement, the other key requirement is that we will need to have the Avigilon VMS, which is in this case, the Avigilon Unity. Without the software, it won't be able to connect to the radio side. So when we do this kind of integration, first we need to install the Avigilon VMS, which is what we call the Unity or ACC in the old name. Yeah. Once you have the software, we can connect the existing camera to the VMS. It should work still. And then from the VMS, we can connect to the R7. Yeah. So yes and no in a way. It's yes, but needs certain things. Okay, next question. Cardio. Is there any battery alert indicator on R7? Yes, the answer is yes. Yeah, there's a battery indicator. You can see the status of the battery for sure. Next one, is it possible to make CPS data compress with other compatible with other models? I don't quite understand this question, because if you look at CPS, it's the reading of the radio, right? So it is designed for that particular model of radio. So it has, unless you're saying you want to clone it, yeah. So for you to clone using that data, it has to be the same exact model. Because if you take a display model, for example, you did get the CPS code plug and you try to clone it on a non-display, it will not work. Yeah, because the hardware is different. The software will not understand. Yeah, so it has to be the same kind of model for it to be compatible. If you mean cloning, yeah, to program to another radio. I'm not sure if I answer your question. I kind of interpret it that way. Yeah. Next one.
Okay. So this one is actually a follow-up to the earlier question about the loud
Okay.
order work group, right?
Okay.
So I think the partner actually did a check immediately. He checked the CPS, but no items were found. So
No items was found. Interesting. Okay, let me get
yeah.
back to you. Yeah, it should be
Yeah.
spotted. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe this partner, can you please just give me your email address? Okay, and then we
Um,
will get back to you. Let me just send it here. Okay, please type your email address in the Q&A box and we will reach out to you.
yep.
Okay, yeah, wow, that is a lot of questions.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
What
Yeah.
what a nice end to the last episode of the year.
That's right. We
Right,
had a
cool.
lot of attendees as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic. So yeah, I think we're over the hour. So thank you very much, Kitsun. Thank you, channel partners. It has been a pleasure, having everyone on the learning hour journey. Very glad that the community is here with us. We do hope that the learning hour has been beneficial to you. Now, if you could do us just a very small favor and give us your feedback on the learning hour series, what topics you would like to know more, we will definitely be very, very grateful to you. So I will just put here the feedback form link in the webinar chat box. Please, take a look, click into it. It's only a short form, 5 to 6 questions, and it's anonymous. So you can just, be free to share your thoughts with us, like how we've done, and then, what areas we can improve on. So
And
yeah.
and that helps you as well, right? If you fill up, you get your inputs, and then we can hear from you, and then we can see how we can tailor certain things to your requirement. and how we
Precisely.
can address your needs as well.
Precisely. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So anything else to add, Kitson,
I'm good. I'm
before we
good.
close? You good?
Thank you
Okay.
for all the questions. Yeah, I really, yeah, heartfelt. Thanks to all those who joined, 100 over people. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the best thing, right? Like, as an instructor or a trainer, and then you see your, participants asking questions,
that's right. That's right.
they have been paying attention and listening, that feels great. Okay, so cool. We will end the webinar here. Here's to a good end of the year. And in case we don't see you again, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. So we will see y'all in 2025. So thank you and goodbye.
Take care.